Hello everyone. Today we will be studying contract cleaning. In this chapter, we will understand the significance of contracts and outsourcing. We will also elaborate on the types of contracts and the services offered on contract basis in housekeeping department. Also, we'll look at some guidelines for hiring contractors and drawing up contract specifications. We will understand the ways of pricing contracts. We will also chalk out the advantages and disadvantages of using contract services. Now, let's start with the chapter contract cleaning. Hotels are increasingly opting for contract services and outsourcing to sustain cost effective housekeeping operations and to ensure that the resources and assets of the properties are utilized to the maximum. The number of companies offering outsourcing services and the types of outsourcing services available are growing rapidly, and India is not lagging far behind. Major hotels and corporate companies are relying more and more on outsourced professional housekeeping service providers to cater to their needs. Let's understand the definition of outsourcing and contracts. Outsourcing is a conscious business decision to move internal work to an external provider, and a contract can be defined as an agreement between two parties negotiating a business deal. Both these terms are now being used interchangeably. However, while all outsourcing involves a contract, all contracts are not necessarily related to outsourcing. For instance, you can have internal staff, that is employees, on contracts as well. Some of the first processes to be outsourced in hotels include janitorial services, security, and catering services. Now, when outsourced services are considered, when choosing between outsourced and in-house services, the cost, the quality of the services, and the convenience are important point to consider. A contractor must be 20 to 30% more productive than direct labor, which is in-house staff, in order to provide an equal service at an equal cost and still get a fair profit. The decision as to whether the initial investment in in-house operations is possible and worth the monthly saving is one that belongs to the hotel's management and owners. These are always pros and cons to consider when assessing the need for outsourced services. A few questions to ask before considering outsourcing services are like, what are the costs are involved in these services? Is there a time, resource or expertise constraint? Would an outsider have more credibility? Is the activity part of the core business? Can the contract be managed effectively? Outsourcing contract will not work unless the, things are properly managed. Steps for determining and implementing such contracts, they include evaluating cost, setting objectives, and appraising results. The goal of such contracts is to develop a trusting partner relationship in which both the parties are winners. Now let's move on to the next topic, which is contract services in housekeeping department. Hotels may go for outsourcing services, which includes complete cleaning programs with all the work and responsibility undertaken by the service provider. Another one, which is regular selected cleaning within an establishment to assist the existing housekeeping staff. For example, the cleaning of public areas at night. Periodic services to assist existing housekeeping operations such as window cleaning, cleaning of walls and ceilings, and cleaning of carpets. Again, another outsourcing would be hiring contracts with various rental firms for linen, equipments, conference utility, also the supplies. Leasing contracts for equipments, furnitures and furnishing which are drawn up for a given number of years. For furniture and upholstery, these are usually written for 5 to 7 years of lease period. For soft furnishing, the lease is generally for 3 years. Now, the entire housekeeping operation of the property put out on a contract by a hotel with a whole gamut of housekeeping activities becoming the responsibility of the contractor. The hotel can actually give the entire department, they can actually outsource the entire department. Consultancy services, where a housekeeping expert visits the hotel and guides the existing staff on achieving professional standards. There are some areas of the housekeeping where services may be offered on contract basis. Cleaning, which includes deep cleaning, public area cleaning, cleaning of hard to reach areas, polishing of different surfaces, carpet and floor cleaning or full cleaning services, linen hire of entire hotel linen or specialized linen like banqueting items, equipments and furniture hire, laundry. It could be completely on premises laundry or off premises laundry, partially. Flower arrangement and decorations, the pest controlling, horticulture and landscaping, eco-friendly garbage disposal. Now, let's move on to the next topic where we will study steps which management takes before hiring the contract providers. First step is put out the tenders to at least 3 contractors and compare the quotes. In this case, the management they receive 3 types of quotations. In those quotations, they check the quality, the pricing, and according to that, they decide which contractor to go with. The second point, what they go for is check out their existing market credibility by contracting previous and current clients. It is very important to get reliable referrals from other hotels, member of professional organizations or business associates. They should also check thoroughly and visit other job sites to check the quality of the contract provider. Check whether the contractors are registered and licensed under the Contract Labour Act 1970 of the Government of India. Preferably, select a contract provider with a local office. Check on the type and amount of training provided to the workers. Also, check on the degree to which the contract provider undertakes supervision of the work. Prepare detailed contract specifications indicating the exact number of working hours, areas of operations and responsibility, processes to be used, frequency of service, timetable and any special project. Should also consider the effect on existing labor with regards to possible redundancy and reemployment and redeployment. Understand contract specification. It is essential that the executive housekeeper provides the service provider with a clearly defined and detailed specification of the work to be done, how it is to be done, and so on. It is from this that the service provider draws up the contract. Contract specification should be carefully worded and should necessarily cover the following points: the period or duration of the contract, date of signing of the contract, and a provision for regular review of the specifications. the schedule of the areas to be serviced, and the frequency with which job is to be done. This is important as the level of cleanliness depends on the time lapse between successive cleaning processes. For example, horizontal surfaces may need daily dusting and vertical can do with a weekly. A description of the method, equipment and material required as well as the hotel's quality expectations including appropriate penalty and cancellation clauses. A list of the security requirements. Sometimes all contract staffs are weighted and specified rooms have to be kept locked. A provision for adequate supervision listing the hotel's requirements specifically. A provision for storage areas, lockers and perhaps accommodation for the contracted staff. The time expectation for the job covering sickness and annual leave. A verification of the insurance coverage for workers, guest hotel employees and its assets. Specified frequencies of inspection agreed upon with the service provider. The remuneration for the job, the terms and the conditions of the payments. And a termination procedure. Both the parties should sign these contract specifications. Let's move on to the next topic, which is pricing of contracts. The basis of payment for outsourced services may include one or more of the following: a management fee for consultancy services, a unit rate agreement, a fixed period cost, a cost for the job plus a percentage of profits, a cost for the job plus a fixed fee. Unit rate agreement. Most of the contracts are agreed on a unit rate basis. The executive housekeeper provides details of the area to be covered and the frequency of the job and asks the service provider for the cost. The contractor measures the area and calculates the cost. Thus, man hours is equal to areas into time into frequency. For example, if a contracted firm has to clean 5 different areas taking 2 hours each twice a week, then man hours will be calculated as man hours is equal to 5 into 2 hours is equal to 20 hours. To the cost of wages for workers and supervisors, the firm adds cost plus equipments, agents and supplies plus overheads and profits and then quotes a price. Let's move on to the cost plus fixed fee. Better than the above mode of pricing is one in which the contractor is paid for the cost of the job and given a fixed fee. In this case, there is no point in the contractor's cutting cost as he has a guaranteed profit margin. With the cost plus fixed fee type of contract, the executive housekeeper specifies the staff, equipments and so on to be employed. The specification should be the same as for in-house labor and the executive housekeeper should compare the contractor's bid with her own in-house cleaning cost. Moving ahead to the next point, which is advantages and disadvantages of outsourcing. Here are the following some possible advantages of outsourcing. There is no capital outlay for equipment so that money is available for investment in other purposes. In most of the cases, the contractor provides all the supplies and equipment. There is no equipment lying idle, particularly specialized gadgets. Contracts alleviate the necessity of buying or hiring specialized equipments. The difficulty of finding, training, organizing and supervising staff is passed on to the service provider. Good contract firms provide skilled laborers well trained in their areas of expertise. This is because they may be able to offer higher salaries than the hotel employing labor directly and can therefore attract more highly qualified and competent staff. Extra work may be carried out at certain times without increasing the basic staff. Accurate budgeting can be done for a fixed period. Contractors provide uniformed workers and take responsibility for all their wages and benefits. The contractors are accountable for the results. Their workers stay on the job until it is done. The hotel receives the benefit of the service providers' up-to-date know-how in their area of expertise and of the latest equipment and technology. Knowledgeable experts can provide sound advice and help reduce cost and legal risk. In addition, independent contractors are required to carry their own liability and workers' compensation insurance. Contract services alleviate many of the problems between the management and workers' union. Contract services can generally be terminated faster and more easily than the services of regular employees, with reducing the likelihood of employment claims and lawsuits. Now, these were the advantages of contract cleaning. Let's understand the disadvantages. These are some possible disadvantages of outsourcing. Contracting weakens the authority of the management over the quality and loyalty of the staff. Workers brought in by the contract providers are not representatives of the hotel and may not have the requisite skills for guest interactions or some or the same pride in their work or job specification. There is a loss of flexibility in effecting changes as the housekeeper no longer have the control over the entire operations. There is a natural tendency among contractors to use cheaper products which may be of poor quality and may damage the buildings and its contents in the long term. There may be poor supervision with standard of work falling below par as a result. Workers may not show up within the designated time frame. There may be a problem regarding security. There may be a problem regarding liaison and cooperation between departments. Contract cleaners may not meet the hotel's standards of quality. One of the reasons for this is the sudden growth of contract cleaning firms, resulting